All right, so let's look at the crisis in Rivers State now. We've been following it, how the events have been unfolding. And of course, one of the latest of it all now is that the People's Democratic Party has issued a statement that the 26 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly that defected from the PDP to the APC have, vacated their seat. As a matter of fact, we understand that the PDP national chairman acting capacity now has written to INEC to ensure that another fresh election should be conducted into the 26 seats that were vacated. Now, before now, we saw that the president, in his magnanimity and also trying to find respite to the issues in Rivers, had to put a 8-point resolution. Things that it should be looked into in such a way that the crisis will be resolved. But that resolution now, the 8-point resolution, seems not to be going down well with interest and interest groups and stakeholders. So we're going to be looking at all those 8-point resolution as we go on this program. Well, this morning we are so privileged to have Barrister Matthew Ederase, a political affairs analyst and also a public affairs analyst. Barrister, you're welcome to this program this morning on ITV. Ederase. Ederase. All right, so let's look at the crisis in Rivers State now. How does it strike you? I mean, the crisis itself, the resolution reached by the president and interest groups and all that. Now, for the resolution, do you see it as a right step in the right direction?
First, I want to begin by asking, what nature of resolution is that? What are they resolving? People have taken their decision freely. And naturally, every decision goes with a consequence. Cabinet members resigned their appointments voluntarily. They were not made to do that at gunpoint.
Yeah, but they gave you a reason now. They said political crisis within the PDP, that's what they said.
When people begin to color an attempt to usurp and interfere with constitutional authority that does not belong to them, illegitimacy trying to contest power with legitimacy, that is not crisis. We should call it what it is, interference, an attempt to usurp. Crisis coloration make it look like two people are contesting legitimately for what rightfully belong to them. No, one is opposing authority. The other one is trying to stretch his feet into the authority that does not belong to him constitutionally or by any known law. So I don't think that is a crisis. We should define it. It is an attempt to usurp and interfere with the running of the government of Rivers State.
Okay.
We should place it properly. Wike had his time. 2-term governor. His tenure, he spent out his tenure and is out of power. If he's not trying to control the incumbent, do we call that one crisis? We should call it what it is. We should condemn that attempt to usurp, to turn an elected government into a puppet.
No, what the 26 members are saying now, because of the contestation on the PDP secretary, that position is contested now. So that's what they are hinging on, that because of that now, okay, the party is in disarray, then of course they are leaving the People's Democratic Party. That's what they're saying.
When you're saying the PDP is in disarray, at the national level?
Yeah.
Is it their definition of disarray? Or as it is? We are now aware of a divided PDP at national level. If there is a contestation for a particular office, that is not division. That is not division. There must be a parallel arrangement, a totally polarized arrangement, where you have a chairman of one fashion, SQ of one fashion, coexisting. That is division, as contemplated by the Constitution.
Not that the position of the secretary is contested.
It is not division. That's not division. The secretary can resign from a party. Is that division? A position of a political position can be challenged. That is not division.
Now, what do you think is going to be the implication now? Because from the look of things, a lot of lawyers have been explaining, trying to go into the 1999 Constitution, particularly Section 109, and of course Section 64, that supports the idea you are trying to propagate now. That if it is only on the account that there is a disarray, a kind of an argument in the party, that's when you can leave. So now that these honorable members have left PDP in Rivers State, what do you think is going to be the implication?
The provision expressly states that if it can be established that the party is divided, it's not in one piece. You're talking about factions now.
Is it at the state level or at the national level?
At the national level.
Okay.
Party is a national organization.
Okay, so in other words, if there were to be division at the national level,
yes,
it would have affected these members now. They would have, what the action they took would have been valid.
Yes,
okay,
if they can establish that,
okay,
that such division exists.
Okay, so right now there's no division.
As we speak, there's no division at the state level, as it were, no division at the national level. So they cannot create artificial division, a picture of division of the mind in their own mind and use it as an exit routes to achieve their agenda. No. If the division of the party, the whole world will know, Nigerians will know. It's not a thing that will be known to few people and not known to the general public. They should tell us who the fashionable chairman of PDP at the national level. Where is the fashioner ESCO of a parallel fashion? It doesn't exist. That is the picture that is envisaged under that session.
Now, what do you make of some of the moves that we've seen as a result of the crisis now? About a few weeks ago, we saw whereby the entire assembly complex was gutted by fire. That's in Rivers State. Then also we saw an order that was given by the state governor Fubara now for a complete demolition of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex. Then, of course, the 26 members had to be sitting somewhere. Now, what do you make in all this? What do you think is really going on?
What is going on is not secret. It's known to everybody, and it's understandable to every discerning mind what is happening in Rivers State. It's an attempt to impose the will of a godfather on an incumbent governor with full constitutional powers as a democratically elected political office holder. There are duties and responsibilities and privileges. Conferred on that office by the constitution of this country. It's not a thing to be negotiated. It's not at the pleasure of an individual. That seat is not occupied at the pleasure of Wike or any other godfather. It is on the will of the people, the electorate, who elected the governor. And to them we owe allegiance. And above all, to the constitution of the country. So any attempt to try to say the president want to impose will arbitrarily, unlawfully, that is not crisis. We should stop calling it crisis. We should call whoever is trying to operate unlawfully to order. Ours is a democracy, a constitutional democracy. It's not an authoritarian regime. So nobody can be bigger than the system.
Okay. Now, let's look at the resolution, 8-point resolution that the presidency, the president in his magnanimity, that's the way some people call it now, why some people have also refused that the president has not been magnanimous with the 8-point resolution. Now, some of the contents, some of them we have here, all matters instituted in the court by the governor and his team shall be withdrawn. And of course, we also have the one that reads that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor should be dropped. Then the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Honorable Martin Amiewule, shall be recognized alongside with 27 members who resigned from the PDP. Now, some of these, the resolution now, what do you make of the resolution? Do you see it as a resolution that really seek to install peace in the face of this crisis? If you go through the 8-point resolution, I'm sure you would have seen the resolution.
I have seen it.
Yes.
It's in all the dailies, the print media, and even online. The fundamental question we should ask ourselves as a people in a civilized world is, under what authority is this resolution being made? By Tinubu? Tinubu is not a dictator. He's an elected president. His powers are defined by the constitution of this country. It does not extend to him dictating how a subnational unit, federating unit, should be run.
No, when you say dictating now, let us be mindful of that, because we understand that before, there was actually a truce that was reached for this resolution to be signed. Although other analysis has it that Fubara did not sign. So let's look at that in that light.
I carefully choose my words. What is dictatorship? When you act outside the law. The very fact that they're even talking about a solution on issues that have to do with constitutional matters, law and order, it's already a dictatorship, dictatorial arrangement. They have no power to even put the rules into issues that have to do with the constitution. The regulation of
Ameule now, this former speaker?
The former speaker, the court has already pronounced on the new speaker. I am trying to reverse a soliciting court order by fiat, executive fiat. That dictatorship. It's the contempt of court. You can't even be talking about it. You can't discuss it. You can't pursue it over that issue. The newspaper is the court of law. It has not been, that order has been set aside. Then you set up an arrangement somewhere in your own personal judgment, making decisions to what is already put to play by the court of law.
Now, we understand, because what seems to be playing out now is the Federal High Court's ruling in Abuja versus the High Court in Rivers State. Why the Federal High Court in Abuja, was trying to rule that the 26, 27 members, they stand to be still members of the House. The High Court in Port Harcourt ruled that there are no more members. So how do we begin to look at these two courts now? One in Abuja, then the other one in Rivers State.
Abuja Federal High Court and the State High Court, they are court of co-equal jurisdiction.
No one supersedes.
No.
The Federal High Court cannot supersede.
No. They have equal jurisdiction. The Federal Court is not an appellate court. You cannot sit on the judgment of a State High Court and set it aside. That is not the job of Federal High Court.
So now that we have two rulings, are we not...
Which one come first? Which one come first? If the Port Harcourt State High Court makes a decision, the only acceptable thing to do under the constitution of this country is to appeal it, or to approach that same court to set aside the ruling.
Not to give a contra...
shopping. You can't run to another court of equal jurisdiction and say, help me set aside what the other court did. No. You can only go up or you return to the same court. Bring an application to set aside that unfavorable decision if you have any valid reasons supported by law. And the court will look at it. Until it is set aside, it remains a valid decision. And it's binding on the parties. So what they are doing is actually an aberration. I have not seen the copy of the ruling of the Federal High Court in Abuja. But the little I saw was they're talking about restraining INEC from conducting election to fill the vacant positions.
And also recognizing that these 27 members, they are still members of the Rivers State House of Assembly.
The Federal High Court Abuja can't even do that. They can't do that. They can't even do that at the preliminary stage. I think that would have been by motion ex parte. The two parties have not been held to advance their arguments. Then you arrive at after evaluation of the argument of both parties. The truth is that you cannot be telling the court that has already declared these people, the new speaker.
Yeah.
It's not even the declaration. The new speaker was recognized by the courts. Port Harcourt Court.
In Port Harcourt.
And these people went ahead to resign, to decamp, to defect from
PDP
the party that gave them mandate to APC.
Now, the 2022 Electoral Act, what does it say about
it? Made it very clear that you automatically lose your seat. The Commission also says so. That was one of the major reforms. It was to guard against this political prostitution. People absconding with their mandates and treating it as their private property.
Yeah.
But they're holding in the trust for the electorate. It's to put a stop to that nuisance, that menace. The Electoral Act that reform, and it was celebrated by all. Now, all this in place, the extant law, the Constitution, which is the grand norm. If your party is not divided, there's no division, and you decamp, you lose your seat automatically. And the speaker that was so recognized by the court of law, competent court, has declared their seat vacant. It is not for Federal Court Abuja to at the primary state declare and overrule what the court has done and what the speaker has exercised. On what basis are they saying they should continue to recognize people who have defected and have lost their seat through the declaration of their seat vacant by the speaker, which is the power to do.
Okay. All right. So we also have another resolution that says that the Rivers State House of Assembly shall choose where they want to sit and conduct their legislative business without the interference of the governor. Now, this has to do with the location. It was Edwin Clark now, a chieftain in South here, and I was also trying to question the position of the president, that it is the duty of the executive to provide office accommodation for the legislature. So now that the legislature in Rivers State now, the 27 members are now choosing where they want to sit. So it runs, ultra via the Constitution. How would you react to that?
Like I earlier stated here at the beginning of this discussion, it is not the business of the President of the Federal Republic or the federal government to dictate where the members will sit in the federating units. It is not their business. They can't even look at that issue at all and start making recommendations.
So whose business is it? Is it the business of the state governor or the business of the River State?
It is the business of the legislators themselves to choose where they will sit, where it will be convenient for them to sit. And they have so chosen. They pass the budget, they perform their legislative functions. As far as the law is concerned, they are of the law. The only legitimate members of Rivers Assembly are those people who have not resigned, who have not defected.
The only 5 members?
Yes, if it is one, that is it.
So those
if you want it to be in the State House, you will be by election to fill the vacant positions. Assuming there is a plane crash, half of the members of the assembly die, will the country stop? What you need to do is to do with the one you have. Why you make arrangement for filling the vacant positions? Is it not how it is done?
Now, when we say, what do you think, because I understand that in various, in Edo State here now, we have a certain number of members of Edo State House of Assembly and all that. Now, in Rivers State, do you think there has ever been a time whereby only 5 members formed a quorum? I mean, if it has never been, how come this is now the issue now?
What is a quorum? Quorum is made out of what is available. Quorum is not made up of people, of something that is not available.
We're talking about representation here.
Yes, representation.
Yeah.
If your representative resigns or dies, am I to be held accountable for that? Should the world stop moving? That regulation, there are 2 positions, conditions for vacancy of office. That can make an office vacant. Even that office, if the resigns, the deputy takes over, the acting whatever. The company will not stop functioning. It's not a one-man company. It's a public office. The death of an office holder does not stop the system from running. There must be replacement. And before the replacement comes, we work with what is available. In the eye of the law, the Assembly has 4 assembly members, legitimate occupants of those offices, those seats.
We're
talking of quorum. Among those 4, if it is quorum you're looking for, you look for the quorum you think that's available for. Not the quorum of made up of people who have vacated their office.
Now, the way it is now, I little wonder whether we will ever find respite in Rivers State, because we have a resolution that says that the governor shall, it says that all commissioners in Rivers State Executive Council who resigned their appointments because of the crisis should resubmit their names to the House for approval. Then it also talks about the budget, that the budget should be resubmitted. We're looking at a situation, can we ever have a situation whereby a budget has been passed, it has been, then you are trying to say to resubmit it again. Do we ever have that situation?
It is a reign of illegality and lawlessness that they are trying to orchestrate. How will you tell a state assembly that has already passed budget and the budget will be assented to by the chief executive, which is what the law expects of them? Then far away Abuja, it's not national budget you're talking about, it's a Rivers State budget. What is the business of a president of a country? It's the budget of a state as to the manner it will be presented and how it should be presented. I talked about dictatorship. That is dictatorship. It's traces of dictatorship. Very repugnant arrangement. It's obnoxious. We should not even condone it. Tinubu is not the person to dictate how a budget should be presented in the State Assembly.
Yeah, but he is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And now that we have come to this stage in Rivers State now, he has a role to play. I mean, he's likened to be a father of a house, that his house is in disarray. Are you expecting him to just fold his hands and watch things go bad?
When there is a constitutional dispute, it is not resolved politically. It is resolved legally. If they say what is in Rivers State is unacceptable in the eye of the law, let them go to court and challenge it. Executive have no power to make pronouncement on legal issues. If Tinubu himself run into legal problems, it is the court that will resolve it, the judiciary. That is why you have the 3 organs of government. The executive cannot encroach into issues of interpretation of the law, which is what this resolution suggests. They can't pass judgments. Whatever they have done there is like a wave in the dark. It's not binding on anybody. It's a wishful thinking taken too far.
So from your own point of view,
it's not enforceable. You can't enforce it.
These resolutions...
How will you enforce it? Under what law? Anybody can use this one as tissue paper, including those who signed it, even if it was signed. It's not binding. If you sign an illegal agreement, it is not enforceable.
It's a resolution.
Resolution is an agreement, if it is signed. How do you enforce it?
Of course,
what law supports what they are doing?
All right, so...
The people in the state, the stakeholders, the electorate there, were they party to this resolution? Was there a referendum?
So why do you think the Rivers people now cannot come together and resolve themselves?
They are behind their governor. It is those who are interfering unnecessarily, the busybody that should ask to stay away. As far as we are concerned, the Rivers people are behind their governor in solidarity. They are against any imposition by a godfather, by whatever nomenclature. So it's not a question of River people are fighting anybody. There is no fight in Rivers State among the people, the electorate.
Now, the People's Democratic Party a few hours ago reacted and supported the call for those 26 members to actually, that they have vacated their seat, that they have seats vacant now. Now, do you see the People's Democratic Party as a party that is trying to, that really wants peace in Rivers State? A lot of people have suggested that for a party, they ought to have called these members and asked them, what are the issues? Rather than trying to tell them that, okay, you vacate your seats, then you lose your position.
How do you expect a party that offered you the platform to contest election and you became victorious, then on your own volition, you defect to the opposition party that lost the election to your party, And how will you expect the party to be inviting renegades? People have already deserted to come and what they have done is the right thing to do. They did not chase them out of the party or out of their seat. On the new thing, they said they no longer want to be PDP members, haven't been elected under the platform. And the question is very clear. As you defend your seat, your seat is not going to go with you. It belongs to PDP as a party. You won under their platform. So you expect, you expect them, and they not support what they have said. There is consequence for every bad behavior. The sanction for defecting without good ground is loss of your elected seat. Having lost that seat by their own action, why would the PDP not say they have lost it? It's stating the obvious. They are only relaying what has been done and explaining it, defining it the way it is. They've lost their seat.
All right, so in all this now, what do you think is going to be the best? Because the whole thing looks so confusing now. In all this, how do you think we can really begin to find respite in Rivers State? Is it going to be a constitutional issue or a resolution issue that at the end of the day some people will say, okay, let it be that way, or the constitution must so sway in this regard?
Legal actions and steps have been taken by the actors within the Rivers State as a federating unit. And the court is already involved. Courts have made pronouncements. I think the only sensible thing to do under a democracy governed by the rule of law is to continue on that direction, the
pronouncements of the courts. The courts now, the Federal High Courts and the Rivers State High Court.
I don't want to believe that there is a conflicting decision.
But it's a court. I mean, the Rivers State High Court is also a court too.
Rivers State High Court made a pronouncement first, on which trend the speaker acted by declaring the seat vacant.
Vacant, yeah.
The only way that thing can be obtained is when there is an appeal to an appeal court so by those who are aggrieved, who are dissatisfied. It's not an option.
Okay.
You can't go and institute a fresh action when one is going on in a court of equal jurisdiction.
Okay.
If they are not satisfied with the decision, or they feel what they have done is supported by law, they should go to and bring an application for that order. The court did not declare that seat vacant, mind you. The court only said, this is the speaker.
This is, okay.
As authorized by law. And the speaker acted in line with the Constitution. As a follow-up of their own voluntary decision to defect and abandon their seats. So they are now trying to do forum shopping to protect what they don't even have anymore. There's nothing to protect there. The only thing they can do is to go to that court and they should be challenging the declaration of their seat vacant if it is done in line with the Constitution. If their own decision to defect without division is supported by any law. If the court, in their wisdom, evaluate the facts and the position of the Constitution and the Electoral Act and say, okay, it is a thing of personal choice. The law is of no moment. The law can be on its own. Whims and caprices of the individual is also on its own. That would be anarchy. Yeah. It's the rule of law we are talking about here. It's not the whims and caprices of somebody who is desirous to act lawfully.
Yeah. We want to say a very big thank you, Barrister Matthew, for joining us on the program. We would have continued this analysis this morning. I was really getting myself into it, but because of all that segment that we need to have on this program. So I want to say a very big thank you, Barrister Matthew,
for having
time to come on the show.